Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Kasim Mustafa and this is Jamia TV. We are talking about health is wealth, a very serious topic that we handle here in Jamia TV. Remember, very many people go through a lot, especially during this period of Ramadan. But apart from this time of Ramadan, very many people face a very serious challenge, a very serious illness, which is a stomach ulcers. What is stomach ulcers? We'll also talk about gastritis. What is it? So joining me in studio is Dr. Jared Atoni, who will tell us more about stomach ulcers and gastritis. Daktari, karibu sana.
Thank you.
Feel at home.
Thank you.
Even though wanasema ukiambia mtu feel at home atageuza nyumba iko yake. So yeah. Feel free.
Okay.
Hapa tunapiga story.
Okay.
Na tunataka watazamaji wetu waelewe stomach ulcers ni nini, because many a times mtu anasikia tumbo inamuuma then anakuambia niko na ulcers. What is ulcers? So before you tell us what ulcers means, I'll kindly request you to introduce yourself once again, now that they know you, but I'll also again request you to introduce yourself.
Okay, my name's Jared Atoni. I am a general practitioner at AR Healthcare, based at City Center Outpatient Center. Yeah.
Asante sana daktari. Sasa tuanze story yetu sasa.
Yeah.
Hawa watu wanataka kusikia sana stomach ulcers ni nini?
Stomach ulcers are painful sores in the stomach lining, normally caused by H. pylori or prolonged use of what we call nonsteroidal and inflammatory drugs. Okay. These are the ones which are the commonest cause of stomach ulcers. Ulcers basically is a wound, okay, in the stomach. Mm-hmm. And the gastritis is an inflammation. So these are two different things. Okay. Yeah.
So we will talk about gastritis and H. pylori next, but people might want to understand exactly the signs and symptoms of stomach ulcers.
Stomach ulcers normally occur. They are more painful when somebody is hungry. Okay. That means the wound is exposed, and when there is acid production, the gastric acid will just panic and you start feeling that panic sensation, pain. But when you take food, you feel some relief. Okay. Because the food has come and has covered that wound which is in the stomach.
So what causes this wound?
This more, I have told you earlier, they are mostly caused by H. pylori, if untreated, and prolonged use of this drug like nonsteroidal and inflammatory drug, whereby brufen is one of them, diclofenac, and many more.
Oh, yeah. Brufen is one of them.
Yeah.
Sometimes back we've been having a trend where mtu akiwa mgonjwa unamuuliza umemeza brufen. Now daktari, how does brufen cause stomach ulcers?
You know, in the stomach we have what we call prostaglandin. These are the secretions which are there to protect the stomach lining and regulate the gastric production, the gastric acid, and also help motility of the gut during the digestion. So when you take this like brufen, it impairs the production of the prostaglandin, hence exposing the stomach to this kind of hyperacid attack.
Okay.
Yes.
So many people confuse between stomach ulcers and stomach pain. What are the two differences?
The difference is when you have the stomach ulcers, it is normally characterized by when you are hungry. That means there's no food. The acid which you produce will work on the wounds and that feeling pain. And the other abdominal pain could be a result of maybe there's an infection, maybe there's some inflammation going on. So that one requires a test or a specific test that's going to be able to differentiate the two, and the appropriate action is taken. Okay. Yeah.
So we are used to words and terms that any person akisikia tumbo inamuuma, anytime anasikia pain in the stomach, anakuambia mimi niko na ulcers. So people, yani watu wanajiekea wenyewe wako na ulcers. How does doctor or doctors diagnose stomach ulcers?
Stomach ulcers are diagnosed several ways, but one of the most invasive things, or one of the symptoms, for those one which have been more advanced, have been taken long without being treated, you can have somebody maybe vomiting blood, or passing blood-stained urine. And one of the best way to diagnose is through what we call endoscopy. Endoscopy is a kind of procedure is done under general anesthesia. Then the picture is taken, and if there's something, any lesion which is suspicious, a specimen is taken from there, taken for further investigation. Then the report is just the gastroenterologist who have done the procedure will write a report regarding the finding.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are these early symptoms? Because of course we have those symptoms that can show someone is having stomach ulcers. Now I want us, and I want our viewers to understand exactly these common signs and symptoms that they may experience, and when they experience it might be a result of stomach ulcers.
One of the signs is abdominal pain, which comes when you are hungry.
Okay.
And also it depends on where the location of the ulcers is. Because the stomach is like a bag. It can be anterior, posterior, the upper side, the lower side. Then the pain will just locate and radiate to the affected part. That means it's on the left lower region. It will radiate to the back side. That's one. Two, they find feeling like nausea. They don't feel like, they feel like vomiting. Some will lose appetite, and others will find out at some point they eat food. After eating food, they get relieved. That is what you call the ulcers. They get relieved. But when it is gastritis, it's the opposite. When you find that when you eat food is when you start feeling pain. When you are hungry, the pain is not so much. The reason being when gastritis is because when you put it in the stomach, they trigger production of acidity for digestion purposes. Yeah.
Now, why? The question I'm about to pose is based on what you've said, that when you're having gastritis, you feel the pain when you eat. After eating. And stomach ulcers, you feel the pain when the stomach is empty.
Yes.
What makes the stomach worsen to be so painful when someone is having stomach ulcers?
Is when you have not eaten. Or you take something which trigger hyperproduction of the acid. That could be, it could be a meal, like meal which are spices, spicy meal, carbonated drinks. Those when we trigger hyperproduction of the acidity, then you work on the ulcers. And when you take, like now, sometimes you find people prefer taking meal at different time. And maybe, let's say, sometimes in the morning you have taken your breakfast well, and maybe you stay over the day without taking lunch. Then that means the stomach is exposed. The ulcer wound is exposed. Then you are getting there. When the acid is produced, then you get the pain. Yeah.
Of course, when you have ulcers, there is that one common thing that will show you that this ulcers is now at a threatening stage. What are these symptoms?
One of the symptoms is when you are vomiting blood.
Vomiting blood,
When you are passing blood-stained stool. And sometimes you find people when it has perforated, it means it has perforated the stomach lining, and now you find the stomach content getting out of the stomach into the peritoneum. We call what we can lead to what we call peritonitis. That is very threatening, and it's an emergency which requires an immediate action. Yeah.
You did mention about the spices and other foods. Maybe we go straight to types of foods that may trigger stomach ulcers. And also we'll also talk about the types of food that may help someone get relieved when he or she is having stomach ulcers. So we start with food that triggers ulcers first?
Yeah, that one I can mention a few of them.
Yes.
One of them is like things like sukuma wiki.
Okay, sukuma wiki.
Beans. Coffee. Pepper.
Black pepper.
Pilipili. Yeah. Tomatoes. Flies. And it's like some carbonated drinks like Coca-Cola, sodas, all those two. Yeah.
So when you mention all this, you've actually mentioned almost everything, because beans is rich in protein. So if you tell someone, for example, watu wa huko ushago, tunawaambia bana usikule maharagwe kwa sababu utapata ulcers, ama because uko na ulcers, is there any other alternative? Mtu akule beans lakini, ama why would someone prefer leaving beans over other meal? Because most of the people in rural areas, that is their staple food.
It is, but you see now it is causing a problem.
Okay.
You have alternative food which can not cause that kind of problem. Like now, if it's for vegetables, you can take cabbage instead of sukuma wiki. You can take spinach, yeah, which cannot cause that. Like now, there are people who prefer taking like fermented milk. That can also worsen menstruation. Okay. You can prefer, instead of taking fermented milk, you can sometimes take fresh milk, but also not so much, because sometimes it can also aggravate production of the acidity. Yeah. So you, in this scenario, we have nutritionists who will guide you in a variety of food that you avoid. Okay. That's you need to ensure that you manage this condition, because this food, when you avoid and you are taking the right food, you might even forget taking medication. You will be very fine taking your food, taking your meal, and you will live just a comfortable life. Yeah.
I'm so much concerned about the types of foods, and when you mention sukuma wiki and spinach, may I know they are from the same family, the brassicas? They are all brassicas, right?
Not the same family.
Okay.
Yeah. In terms of content and nutrients, they differ. Yeah.
Maybe you explain to us why would someone use spinach over sukuma wiki, even though you said sukuma wiki is much of acidity, but now I want our viewers back at home to understand the two differences, because someone might say, bana hii bado tu ni sukuma, si ni sukuma, hii spinach bado tu zinafanana na sukuma. Sasa wale wanataka kuelewa pale nyumbani wanasema
they looks similar, but their nutritional content or whatever they have is different. You realize that when you take sukuma, there's something, they have some chemical which can trigger the gastric gland to produce a lot of acids. And the one when you take spinach, they don't trigger the gastric gland to produce a lot of gastric acid. Yes.
I want us to take a very short break. When we come back, now we want to talk about those types of foods that someone will be safe if he uses, because sometimes it's a wound, and when we eat some food, si kuna chakula inaponesha kidonda
kunao.
Sasa acha turudi tupumzike kidogo tu, alafu tukirudi tuambie watu wakule chakula gani, kwa sababu chakula zingine tushawakataza. Sasa wakule chakula gani iwasaidie kukua safe. Siya iko sawa daktari?
Iko sawa.
So ladies and gentlemen, we take a very short break. We'll be back. When we come back, we'll talk about the solution. We'll also talk about some of the challenges that you are facing at home, and you are likely to get the solution here in this show, Health is Wealth. My name is Kasi Mustafa. We take a very, very short break. We'll be right back.
Ooh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back. We're talking about stomach ulcers, a very serious illness that is affecting very many people. Remember, Dr. Jared talked about it in our first episode, or our first part of the show, and he said it is caused by H. pylori. But we will understand more about H. pylori. We also talked about gastritis, which is an opposite of stomach ulcers. So you might be having a stomach ulcers, and also you might be having gastritis. What are they? We have learned them in our first part of the show. So I'll join Daktari this time to tell us more about the types of food that people should embrace, especially those people who are having stomach ulcers. Daktari, karibu and welcome back.
Thank you.
Let us understand now the types of food. When we left, tulikuwa tunasema mtu asikule maharagwe, mtu asikule sukuma, mtu asikule hii, asikule spiced food kwa sana, na wengine wetu tumezoea roiko. Sasa hatujui kunaenda aje. Wengine wetu hatukuli chakula bila soda. And you said soda is the one of the things that trigger ulcers. So now people need to know and understand exactly what types of foods that they should embrace to either avoid ulcers, that is stomach ulcers, or to protect themselves from ulcers, or to heal themselves from ulcers.
The first thing is like when you understand the cause of the ulcers and whatever you consume which is going to trigger. You remember when you have a wound, when you eat food which is going to trigger hyperprotection of the acid, which is going to cause more pain on the wound. Like this food, we have seen a few of them like skumawik and teles, which are causing hyperprotection. Now, when you look at the other side, when you want to protect yourself, is to look at the food which cannot trigger hyperprotection of the acid. So I'll mention a few of them, yes. But the more details in that particular extent, a nutritionist can really put more on that. Yes. Like now, instead of like taking skumawik, I've said you can take spinach
and cabbage.
You can take cabbage. You can take this we call managu, which is not bitter. You can take malenge. Matawi ya malenge, I don't know the other name is called it.
Wanaitwa seveve.
Seveve, yeah.
Yes.
You can have this terere.
Yeah. Dodo.
Yeah, total mchicha, whatever.
Yes, wherever you come from.
Yeah. Yes. Those are the kind of vegetables you can take. Yes. In terms of spices, you can do the natural spices like pilipili hoho.
Yes, pilipili hoho.
Sio pilipili kali.
Okay.
You can do dania. Yeah. You can do this thing we call what this salad onion.
Yes.
Those one, you can do them. And in terms of these processed spices, then that one I don't think we recommend them highly, because we find some of them can just have a combination of other components we can trigger that problem. Okay. When it comes to the drink, some of these carbonated drinks, like the one you have mentioned about soda. Yes. I know people have soda and what. Very nice. You can start to take like a juice, like this juice from the watermelon. Okay. Yeah.
That is fresh juice.
Fresh juice, yeah. You can take that one, which does not have trigger that. You can take juice from what do you call some mango. Some people cannot cause that problem, but if it creates problem with you, you just do what we did. Okay. You can do this what do you call
what about passion?
Passion, some people it can cause, because it's acidic. Sort of. Okay. It can cause that acidity. And this other one.
Beetroot?
Beetroot you can do it.
Okay.
Yes.
So that is on drinks. Now we talk about the food. Sisi watu ambao tumezoea kumega ugali, kuna vitu zingine watu tumezoea pilau, Vitu kama hizo. Now maybe you talk about the cereals and all that types of foods.
The cereals now you come to, there are people you find to take like ndengu.
Okay.
And they get problem. Those one you do away with it. If you can do the cereal, like now yellow beans to some people, it doesn't bring a lot of problem with them.
Okay.
They can do that. But I know in the meal like pilau. Pilau, you know, you mix a lot of spices for it to be delicious.
Okay.
So you can just co-opt and see what you can include and have an alternative to that. Okay. You can have rice and maybe you have some stew and with it, but not a lot of spices which triggers acidity. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, for those people who are fasting at this time, they might be having a lot of problems, especially because they are taking too long, 8 to 9 hours during the day without eating anything. So that time when they are fasting, you find that they are having some pains, stomach pain, because we said when you have stomach ulcers, you are likely to experience stomach pain when you haven't eaten anything.
Yeah.
So for those people who are fasting, what is the safest way for them to fast?
I think the idea is that when you are opening, yeah, like in the
now breaking the fast.
You call it iftar.
Iftar.
Yeah, iftar.
Yes.
And suhur.
Suhur. Yes.
Suhur, during suhur, they are advised to take antacid. Antacid medications.
Okay.
Though the will be taken like 20 to 30 minutes before meal.
Okay.
That will be able to protect them the entire fasting hours until the next meal.
Okay.
So when they do that, it will reduce the instant of having abdominal pain and having the discomfort, even the rat pan intercession, even hyperproduction of the acidity.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is those people who are used to buying medicine over the counter, and I'll give us a scenario of a patient some 2 weeks ago who just explained to me about how he feel. So he was talking about a very serious pain in the stomach, and after explaining to me that he've been having this pain, stomach ulcers for so very long time, and you know, remember he's a coast person, he's a person from the coast, and people from the coast, like they are always in a spice room. They like spices, yani. So this person said, I remember sending a farewell message to us on the status saying, in case I wronged you, please forgive me, and find a place to forgive me, because if this ulcers takes me tonight, we will not see each other tomorrow. So please forgive me, and we will not see each other again. So this really made me to come up with this and request you to come and talk about stomach ulcers, because I've already seen the impact that is having to very many people. They feel maisha imeishia hapo when they feel that pain, because you cannot eat, you cannot sleep, you cannot stand. Yani, when you feel that pain, you cannot do anything. So for those people who are used to buying medication over the counter, what do you have to tell them?
I think more especially in most cases you find somebody having pain, yeah? Then you go over the counter, look for painkillers. And when you get given painkiller, the dispenser, the pharmacist, doesn't understand what is the cause of that pain. So what I will advise that is, let's not avoid buying over-the-counter medication. Okay, for instance, if you have taken something like paracetamol or you have been given diclofenac, the pain has worsened, the best appropriate action is to go to the hospital. You go see a clinician, you explain your complaint, he takes your history, he make a decision, and maybe you train for further tests and lab tests, like now to find out what is causing that pain. Because abdominal pain can be a symptom of many conditions. So he takes the appropriate test, depending on the outcome, then he will advise and prescribe the right prescription. Then he can maybe advise subsequent follow-up So when you have been told to take medication maybe for a week or 2 weeks, then you come for review, make sure you go back for review to see how far you have recovered depending on the complaint. Then the clinician will advise maybe add you more medication or will tell you you stop medication and this is what was causing the problem.
Yes.
So the best thing is that let's avoid over the counter. Let's go to the hospital, let's go for proper test and proper management. Realize that if this problem is properly handled, some can heal once you know. If you realize like those who are taking over the counter medication like painkillers arbitrarily, some of them may be triggering this condition here. You realize I mentioned the area use of nonsteroidal anti-inflammatory drugs for long,
Yes.
If you stop this and this problem, maybe they are the one causing the problem, you can stop.
Okay.
So the best thing is that you go to the hospital, get light treatment, get tested, get the right treatment, and from there, then you can know how you work out into your ailment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now another question come. We have these people, yani when we have homa, we call it, how do you call it?
Flu.
Flu, yes. When we have flu, what we do, we use aspirin. And in our first part of the show, we said aspirin and brufen are likely to trigger the pain of ulcers. And when you use aspirin, when you have flu, you are likely to be okay because inafungua sijui mishipa or what does it do. So I'm very much concerned about these types of medication because sometimes mtu akona flu, akona ulcers, then akona headache. 3 in 1. Sasa what he or she does, unapata mtu anameza dawa ya painkiller, that is Panadol. Then akona na flu ambayo ni aspirin and Piriton and all other zile vitu wanatumia wamepewa. Then unapata anaona sasa niko na ulcers, anatumia tena dawa ya ulcers labda alipewa. Sasa what do they need to do? Because uko na headache, unaona si niko na Panadol, unameza Panadol ama brufen. Then you forget, as you use brufen, you have stomach ulcers. Ama I have flu. What do? Let me use aspirin. When you use aspirin, it triggers the stomach ulcers. Now, what do we really need to do?
When you have that condition, always seek the right medical attention.
Okay.
We realize when you come and you say you have ulcers, there are those medications we don't give.
Okay.
We have alternative to that, which can give you the right treatment. So in first cases, I realized that people go over the counter and buy those medications. But ideally, we say sometime back, you know, you are having headache, you get Panadol, which is okay, it's friendly with the ulcers. And maybe you have a running nose, people buy Piriton, of course it's okay.
Yes.
With those two, if it's a flu, a simple flu is about to go away.
Yes.
You don't need to take aspirin.
Yeah.
But when you find that symptoms have persisted, they are not improving, you are getting worse,
Yes.
go to the hospital.
Okay.
That's where you go, you say, and if you mention all these conditions that you have, if you have an underlying condition, then the clinician who is there is about to factor that and ensure that even if he's going to give you a prescription for the medication, for the whatever you are having, he factor all those conditions that you have in, that is going to manage the condition without causing another harm to the another condition that you are having, underlying condition that you have.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, another question. For instance, if you're having stomach ulcers, you've used all the medications, and of course you as a medical officer, you've experienced this. There is those myths and misconceptions about certain illness. Have you ever heard of any myth and misconception on ulcers?
I can see people saying, I've heard sometimes that maybe not taking meal can cause ulcers. That's not true.
Okay.
Because unless it is an underlying condition that you have already developed and had been diagnosed, you know, which has been diagnosed and confirmed that you have ulcers. But sometimes you may find certain kind of people, what you actually consume. Like for those who like consuming very hot food, like be it food, be it drink, they are trying to burn the lining of the stomach, and that one may precipitate to formation of the ulcers. Okay. So some of the myths could not be true. Okay. And that's why we ideally believe that we have to go to the right place, get the diagnosis correct, and get the right treatment. Okay. So that you know when I'm taking this medication is for this condition. And actually when you take the right treatment, you feel the impact. You feel better. Okay. Yeah.
So does fasting cause ulcers, or is it a common misunderstanding?
It's a common misunderstanding.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you have ulcers and you do fasting, that's because already you have an underlying condition. Okay. But if you don't have ulcers, and you are fasting, it does not cause ulcers. Okay. Because this thing, if it was causing it, it could have happened to most of the Muslim families who have been fasting. Then means that at the end of the fasting season, everybody could be having ulcers. Yes, yes.
Thank you so much, Daktari. Time is really not on our side. Yeah. And because I'll still need you in our next episode, we talk about gastritis. Maybe the few questions about stomach ulcers that are left, we can handle them in our next episode of this show. It was really an honor having you here. But before I let you go, I'll give you 1 minute to talk to our viewers back at home. Give them your parting shot.
Okay, what I can say is that when you have any abdominal condition, like now what you have heard about gastritis, ulcers, the best thing is that to go to a hospital whereby the history is taken, the right investigations are done, the right treatment is instituted, so that you know, I'm having this condition, I need to take this medication for this period of time, I need to go back for review when I'm supposed to go. And secondly, when you really look at the side, like the side of meal, you really have to follow. Once you have been diagnosed with certain condition and you have been told or you have been advised to avoid certain kind of meal, just adhere to that. That is the best way to go to ensure that you improve your health and your well-being. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Daktari.
Welcome.
I really need to talk about, I really need to talk more about this, but now because time is not on our side, let's end it there. And to our viewers back at home, you've heard it very clearly that stomach ulcers is a very serious and common illness affecting very many people. But you have all the possible ways to solve it, even though we didn't talk about the solutions to this and the possible ways, but we'll talk about it in our next episode of this show. Remember, I've promised that in our next episode, we'll talk about gastritis and H. pylori. Very many people talk about H. pylori. We'll know about what causes H. pylori, what are the common symptoms of H. pylori. So it was an honor having Dr. Jared here in our show, and inshallah we meet next week, same time, same place. My name is Kasim Mustafa. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.